There is one key thing that can make the difference between your online course ending up on the bestseller list versus one that ends in the course graveyard. And unfortunately, it's a really easy trap to fall into because literally every coach and mentor out there tells you to nail your niche. Well, in today's episode, I'm going to tell you what matters more than nailing your niche and how this can make a giant difference when it comes to marketing and selling your offers. All right, let's do this. You're listening to the Passive Project Podcast, where we talk about how to build your online business to make more income, more impact, and give you more freedom in your life. I'm Gemma Bonham-Carter, business strategist, mom of two, lover of passive income, automation, and coffee. Welcome to the podcast. Hey, what's up? I hope you guys are all having a lovely summer and enjoying the beautiful weather. It has been hot here in Ontario, and we've been taking advantage. We have been spending a lot of time at the lake. We are currently obsessed with our new sup board. So I bought a stand-up paddleboard for my husband, Dan, back in March for his 40th birthday. All of our friends and family contributed to it, which was super fun. And so we have been taking it out. Of course, we've fallen in love with how fun it is to go, I don't know, do you call it supping, I guess? So we came home this past weekend from the cottage and immediately hopped on over to Costco's website and ordered a second sup board so we can actually go out, all of us as a family. It's really fun. The kids love to sit on the front of the sup board and then Dan paddles or I paddle. So we need two of them. So we've got a second sup board on the way. We've also just been living the sprinkler life lately. While we try and go away every weekend to either my parents' cottage or my parents' house. We're bubbled with my parents in this time of COVID. So we are able to actually hang out with them and stay at their place, which is super, super lucky. But during the week, we're here at our house and we're doing working and trying to hang with the kids and have lots of sort of family time around here. And I will say that I would say our sprinkler gets daily use from the kids jumping back and forth on the sprinkler. Reminds me actually of my own childhood. I don't know if your hand is up there, you're nodding along, remembering that when you were a kid. It's super fun. So we've been doing sprinklers and then popsicles on the porch has been our routine. But I just popped up here to record this episode for you, because it's something that I have been thinking about lately and realizing that I think a lot of people I don't want to say make this mistake, but sort of fall into this trap. So it's what I want to talk about today is why it is not so important to nail your niche and what you need to do instead. So here's the thing, if I had $5 for every time I heard an entrepreneur, coach, or guru tell me to nail my niche, I would have made $1 million a long time ago, right? Everybody says to nail your niche. Honestly, I've even said it. I'm pretty sure I have lessons inside some of my programs that are titled How to Nail Your Niche. But when it comes to selling an online course or a group coaching program or some kind of digital offer, nailing your niche is not nearly as important as nailing your transformation. So that is what is more important when it comes to marketing and selling your online course. So the whole reason why an online course would sell like hotcakes is because people want the results it offers, right? They are struggling with a pain point. The course offers a solution to that pain point, and they're there for it. They're ready to buy it. And ultimately, the faster and easier your course gives that solution, the easier the purchasing decision is for that potential buyer. Now, if you want your course ultimately to end up on that bestseller list instead of in the course graveyard, which is where courses go to die, which we never want to go to that place. That is for all the courses out there that flop. you need to get really crystal clear on what that before and after transformation is for your customer. So where is your customer before taking your course? How are they feeling? What are they thinking? What do they have? What do they believe? And then where are they after taking your program? Going through those same questions again. So let's walk through a quick example, because I think this will help illustrate for you the difference between what it means to nail your niche as opposed to nailing the transformation. So let's say you're marketing a course that is how to homeschool kids. This is a very topical thing right now. If you are in the homeschooling arena, if you're a homeschooling expert, I hope that I'm feeling like your market has gotten much larger and people are ready to soak up that information. I know I am, for sure, as a mom of 2 young kids who has been now homeschooling her kids for the past 3 months. So let's say that's your course. It's all about how to homeschool kids. Now, if you were following the usual, let's nail your niche type questions, or, these might also be known as identify your target audience or your ideal customer avatar, all of those things, you might end up with something like this. You might say, okay, my niche are North American homeschooling moms who are in the age range of, let's say, 25 to 40. They have 2 or more kids. They love to be outside. They're athletic and adventurous type of people. Most of them actually live in a rural setting. They're not like city or urban folks. And let's say they work out every day. They're really active and they eat a plant-based diet. That's really specific. So you're like, yeah, I nailed my customer avatar. Gotta go find those homeschooling moms who tick off all those boxes, right? Let me go get in front of those moms. But really, all you have there are actually just a bunch of characteristics of that person that are relatively superficial, right? Like whether that mom is outdoorsy and adventurous, or she's like an urban mom who loves to stay in, binge watch Bravo while she has a glass of rosé. None of those things really affect whether or not she's going to buy your program. The thing that really will resonate with her are those deeper pain points that mom is experiencing. So less about the characteristics of who she is, more about those pain points. So let's do that exercise again, but focus on the transformation. So if you had focused on the transformation, you might say, okay, my course is for the frazzled mom who is, printing out free homeschooling sheets off Google every night. She's writing up a homeschool schedule for the next day at 10 p.m. and keeping her fingers crossed that this is going to be the magic routine that seems to work the next day. And she's exhausted at 10 p.m. writing up that schedule on her little whiteboard station she's created in her house. She's worried that her kids aren't learning fast enough and that they're falling behind. And she's doubting her own ability to homeschool. She's worried her kids are falling behind the rest, whether this is really going to work for them, and that she's just not doing a good enough job. And her days are full of whining children, and the whole hope that she had of having this fun family time and a lot of togetherness and a lot of bonding is nowhere to be found. And so her days are just frazzled and she is really doubting herself and her abilities. So now if we look at that is a far more accurate picture, right? Whether that mom that we just described, whether she likes to hike or crochet or read gossip magazines or drink rosé, it doesn't matter, right? It matters what she's feeling and believing and experiencing, because the super outdoorsy mama who loves to hike versus the homebody mama who loves to stay home and crochet, they can both be experiencing those same pain points. They might both be feeling that doubt and that feeling of being frazzled and not getting the fun family time they want, right? So the after picture, that would have been the before picture of that particular mom going, before they go through your course. The after picture of that mom, after having gone through your, incredible how to homeschool course, Now she's somebody who feels organized. She's got a clear curriculum that she is able to follow with zero guesswork. So she's not having to Google stuff anymore or print out free downloads, at 11 p.m. at night for the next day. None of that. Everything is organized right from the get-go, and she knows exactly what she should be doing every day. She is going to be seeing progress in her kids' learning. She's going to know that they're meeting those milestones. Like, she's going to know what the milestones are and whether or not they're meeting them. She's going to have a set routine to her days, so the day feels like it flows well. There's going to be less whining because there's just that set routine. She will ultimately, maybe it's that she can do the schoolwork with her kids in an hour and a half because it's so organized and it's so kind of clear. And then her kids and her have lots of free time left to, explore, go on adventures, have that family time, do whatever it is they like to do in the off time of the day. And ultimately, it has resulted in like a happy, confident, less overwhelmed mom and happy kids. So that's a very clear before and after picture, right? And how much more powerful is that than just that description we started with, which was quite superficial about that mom. So, if you're thinking about launching an online course, or maybe you have a course already and you want to market it more effectively, what transformation does your course provide? Are you really, really clear on that and what that before and after picture is like? So let me actually walk you through, these are some of the questions that I tend to ask myself when I'm really mapping this out for any of my own programs, or if I'm doing this with a client or a student. Ultimately, you want to be asking, okay, yes, describe your ideal customer. For sure. Let's do that. Let's get that down on paper really clearly. But then we want to be asking, okay, how is that customer feeling right now? What's that potential customer feeling? And you're going to have this in two columns, okay? You're going to have a before column and an after column. So how is that customer feeling before taking your course versus after taking your course? Describe how they're feeling before and after. And then do the same thing of what do they have? What does your customer have before the course, and what do they have after taking the course? You can also talk through really who is that person? Who is that ideal customer before and after? What do they believe to be true? What are they thinking? This is where you're really digging into those pain points. And so if you do this just on you can just do this on a sheet of paper. I tend to do this in a Google sheet. Inside, what I always do from an organizational standpoint is always create a new folder for any new program I'm creating inside of Google. And then I keep all of these things in one place. So I would just create a new Google sheet that says course transformation and walk through those things. Who is that person? How do they feel? What do they have? What do they believe to be true? What are they thinking? What are those pain points? And have the two columns of before and after. And once you've really worked through that, let me tell you, you are going to be so much clearer on that transformation of your course. And then what you want to do is use what you've just brainstormed there. You're going to use that in all of your marketing. This is going to help to inform how you write the sales page, because think about it, at the top of a sales page, what do we always do? We always try and identify the target audience for that course, and we try and really highlight the pain points that they're currently feeling. And the top of the sales page there, you're highlighting their pain points and you're kind of twisting the knife a little bit. You're really getting at those things that they're feeling, that they're struggling with, before you start to introduce your course as the solution. And so if you've done this work ahead of time of really identifying that entire before picture of your audience, you're going to have it's done, right? You have all of the language and the words there to really craft that part of your sales page. And ultimately that then, you're going to probably use those in sales emails and how you when you go to launch your program or how you might communicate on social media. So really take that time to dig into this transformation, the before and the after of your course, and let that guide you with your marketing. And it'll really put you so much further ahead than just this idea of nailing your niche. All right, I hope that makes sense. Maybe send me a DM on Instagram, or if you're in our free Facebook group, you can comment in there. Let me know what it is that your course, like the transformation that your course provides, and whether you've achieved a lot more clarity around that and how that can make a difference in your marketing. I would love to hear from you about it. If you want more on how to launch and pre-sell an online course, I have a brand new on-demand free masterclass. If you head on over to GemmaBonham-Carter.com/masterclass, you can snag your seat. You can watch it right now if you have the time. You're able to choose like a date and time in the future, or you can sit and watch it right now. So head on over to GemmaBonham-Carter.com/masterclass for all of those tips and tricks. And I'm going through like how to pre-sell your course. I'm going through some of the mistakes that I made with my first course, so you don't make the same mistakes again. It's really 60 minutes very well spent. So that's it for today's episode, guys. I will see you next week.